Oke. Oke, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. Thanks God that today we can meet again in the lecturing of the literature in the historical teaching and learning. Today we are going to listen the student presentation. There are 5 students will present about his or her topic. Firstly, Sarah Staningsi, and then Arya S. Naufal, and then Hairul R. Ardiansah, and lastly, M. Hanif J. Islami. I think we are going to listen the presentation from Sarah Staningsi. Sarah, your time is 5 until 10 minutes, so time is yours now.
Sudah tampil?
Oke, go ahead.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, saya Sarah Staningsi dengan NIM 19048830. Di sini saya akan mempresentasikan mengenai hasil kajian saya dengan judul Gambaran Kesengsaraan Rakyat Akibat Kekejaman Jepang dalam Cerpen Jawa Baru karya Idrus. Cerpen Jawa Baru ini merupakan salah satu cerpen yang ada dalam buku kumpulan cerpen karya Idrus yang berjudul Dari Ave Maria ke Jalan Lain ke Roma. Buku ini sudah diterbitkan sejak tahun 1948 oleh Balai Pustaka. Latar belakang yang saya ambil dalam mengkaji cerpen ini, seperti yang kita ketahui, pembelajaran sejarah sering dianggap sebagai pembelajaran yang monoton karena pembelajarannya cenderung membuat jenuh, sedangkan karya sastra sendiri merupakan suatu karya sastrawan yang disampaikan dengan komunikatif dan biasanya mengandung informasi dan nilai yang beragam hingga membuat pembacanya menjadi lebih menyenangkan. Nah, keduanya bisa menjadi suatu perpaduan untuk menciptakan pembelajaran sejarah yang menarik dan menyenangkan. Metode yang saya ambil yakni metode studi literatur, di mana studi literatur ini merupakan serangkaian kegiatan yang berkenaan dengan metode pengumpulan data pustaka, membaca, mencatat, serta mengolah bahan penelitian. Hasil dan pembahasan. Cerpen Jawa Baru ini menceritakan tentang kemelaratan dan penderitaan rakyat akibat kebrutalan penjajahan Jepang pada saat itu. Di dalamnya terdapat kritik terhadap pemerintah Jepang yang pada saat itu telah merampas hasil bumi dan menyengsarakan rakyat. Di dalam cerpen Jawa Baru ini terdapat kutipan sebagai berikut. Orang Nippon itu sama saja dengan Belanda, menghapuskan harta benda kita. Ya, lebih lagi dari orang Belanda, mereka memeras kita dengan muka manis. Seperti yang kita ketahui, Jepang masuk ke Nusantara dengan menarik simpati rakyat, sehingga rakyat menganggap kedatangan Jepang akan memberi harapan baru bagi mereka. Namun pada kenyataannya, kedatangan Jepang pada saat itu hanyalah memberi mereka kekecewaan. Penderitaan rakyat akibat kekejaman Jepang yang tergambar dalam cerpen Jawa Baru, yang pertama, rakyat kekurangan beras, karena pada saat itu beras juga harganya cukup mahal. Dalam cerpen ini disebutkan kurang lebih harganya 3.000 per liter. Dalam cerpen Jawa Baru ini ada kutipan yang berbunyi sebagai berikut. Jawa terkenal dengan beras. Mengapa kita kekurangan? Beras susah, setiap orang hanya mendapat 1/5 liter sehari, tetapi orang Nippon mendapat 5 liter sehari. Pada saat itu, pihak Jepang memang memberlakukan peraturan-peraturan baru bagi penjualan beras secara wajib kepada pemerintah dengan harga rendah untuk kebutuhan mereka sendiri. Mengapa pemerintah Jepang memilih beras di Jawa? Karena mereka menganggap beras di Jawa itu berasnya bermutu tinggi dan menurut mereka rasanya enak. Jadi oleh karena itu mereka berkeinginan untuk memperoleh beras dari Jawa dan kebijakan mereka pun ditujukan untuk memaksimalkan produksi dan pengumpulan beras tersebut. Selain itu, perempuan rela menjual tubuh mereka untuk mencari uang, untuk memberi beras, untuk menghidupi sanak saudara mereka. Selain itu juga, para pekerja pada zaman Jepang banyak yang mati kelaparan, karena mereka pada saat itu kesehatannya tidak terjamin, makanannya pun tidak cukup, serta pekerjaan yang mereka kerjakan pun terlalu berat tentunya. Bagi rakyat Indonesia, Romusa atau pekerja paksa pada zaman Jepang itu berarti seorang buruh kuli yang dimobilisasikan sebagai seorang buruh kasar di bawah kekuasaan militer Jepang. Pada saat itu jutaan orang Jawa dimobilisasikan dengan cara ini dan di cara ini, dan tidak sedikit di antaranya mereka banyak yang dikirim keluar Jawa. Penyampaian dalam cerpen Jawa Baru ini memiliki makna yang dalam dan menyajikan kata-kata yang merepresentasikan keadaan pada saat itu. Seperti pada kutipan berikut ini. Di Malang, rumah gadai Rp4 untuk sebuah karung beras. Pemerintah perlu karung untuk membawa beras ke negeri Nippon. Rakyat perlu karung untuk menutup aurat. Di Jakarta juga susah kopi, tetapi orang di Batam hampir tenggelam dalam kopi. Orang-orang di Batam pun mati kelaparan juga, karena mereka hidup tidak dengan kopi saja. Di Bandung, jalan-jalan raya penuh dengan perempuan-perempuan Belanda Indo. Mereka berjualan badannya. Berdasarkan kutipan-kutipan tersebut, dapat kita ketahui seberapa besar penderitaan yang dirasakan oleh rakyat pada saat itu. Dalam pembelajaran sejarah, kita dapat menggunakan kutipan hingga karya sastra tersebut untuk lebih menarik siswa dalam mempelajari sejarah. Sekian yang dapat saya sampaikan. Berikut daftar rujukan yang saya gunakan. Mohon maaf apabila banyak kesalahan. Terima kasih atas perhatiannya. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you very much, Sarah Staningsi. Please, you close the share screen. And the next presenter, unfortunately, Arya S. Naufal, you didn't send the PPT to WhatsApp group, so I think you cannot present today, so will be cancelled. And next is the presentation from Herul R. Ardiansa. Herul, time for you is similar, 5 until 10 minutes, and starting from now, time is yours. Herul R. Ardiansa. Halo Herul.
Pak, maaf bisa di perjalanan. Hairul itu nge-WA ke saya, dia nggak bisa ini kayak ada pertampilan di apa ya olahraga atau apa gitu.
Okay,
Yeah.
It does not matter. Okay, the last presentation we will listen from M. Hanif J. Islami. Hanif, time for you now.
Pak, sebentar. Sudah terlihat?
Okay, go ahead.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, nama saya Muhammad Hanif Zulfikar dengan NIM 1908467. Hari ini saya akan mempresentasikan hasil kajian saya mengenai yang berjudul Melihat Perjuangan Rakyat Surabaya dalam cerpen Surabaya karya Idrus. Lanjut langsung saja. Cerpen yang saya pakai berasal dari buku karya Idrus, yaitu buku Surabaya yang ditulis tahun 1947, beberapa tahun setelah peristiwa Surabaya. Idrus sendiri bilang kalau buku ini adalah cara untuk mengajak para pembaca agar melihat bagaimana terjadinya pertempuran di Surabaya. Untuk latar belakang sendiri, melihat sendiri adalah melihat berjalannya pertempuran Surabaya pada 10 November 1945 yang melibatkan rakyat Surabaya dengan pihak sekutu. Materi pembelajaran tentang pertempuran Surabaya yang dibawakan guru terlalu umum, terkadang tidak menarik karena guru fokus dengan ada yang di buku teks. Seorang guru kurang mampu untuk menggunakan karya sastra agar dapat mampu membangun materi sejarah lebih menarik. Terkadang guru sejarah tidak menggambarkan bagaimana pertempuran itu terjadi, bagaimana semangat para pejuang di Surabaya. Masalah-masalah di atas kemungkinan dapat dikurangi menggunakan karya sastra agar membantu menghidupkan materi sejarah agar lebih menarik. Untuk metode yang dipakai dalam kajian tugas ini itu di literatur dengan mengumpulkan sumber data pustaka atau sumber dari internet berupa jurnal, buku-buku, kemudian dibaca serta dicatat materinya agar dapat dipergunakan dalam presentasi kali ini. Ya, langsung saja masuk ke hasil pembahasan. Dalam buku Idrus dibuka dengan peristiwa perobekan bendera Belanda yang ada di atas Hotel Yamato oleh para pahlawan, orang pemuda Surabaya. Peristiwa yang menyebabkan kemarahan Belanda serta kedatangan pihak sekutu Belanda dan Inggris ke Jakarta. Idrus menggambarkan para pemuda itu sebagai koboi yang sedang melawan para pencuri sapi, atau kalau yang digambarkan oleh Idrus itu adalah sekutu. Senjata pemuda yang dibawa pemuda adalah rampasan dari tentara Jepang. Melihat hal itu, Inggris menjabarkan sebuah pamflet atau selembaran kertas yang berisi perintah untuk menyerahkan senjata bekas Jepang yang dibawa rakyat Surabaya. Kertas itu dilempar dari atas pesawat. Kondisi itu digambarkan oleh Idrus sebagai lokasi yang baru saja dilanda letusan Gunung Merapi karena suasana saat itu sangat mencekam sekali. Para rakyat Surabaya yang sedang berjuang dilempari bom oleh pihak sekutu, sehingga banyak dari mereka yang berlarian ketakutan. Banyak dari rakyat Surabaya yang menjadi korban dan juga kabur keluar wilayah Surabaya yang sangat mencekam saat itu. Tidak dapat dihindari orang-orang Surabaya lain menjadi korban salah sasaran dari pemuda Surabaya yang berjuang karena saat itu banyak mata-mata dari pihak pribumi. Peristiwa ini digambarkan oleh Idrus dengan gambaran yang menyebutkan tentang burung-burung yang melempar kotorannya pada kaum pelarian atau rakyat Surabaya. Lalu ketika para pemuda yang berjuang berhasil dijatuhkan, mereka semakin terdesak oleh keberadaan tank-tank di jalan. Pemuda Surabaya juga pun jadi rela mati. Tak banyak juga dari mereka yang berlarian keluar dari Surabaya. Idrus menggambarkan tentang burung-burung sekutu yang melempar kotorannya sehingga menembus tubuh para kaum pelarian. Akhir perjuangan dari rakyat Surabaya. Dalam buku, Idrus menyebutkan bahwa rakyat Surabaya akhirnya menjadi kaum pelarian. Para bandit sekutu berhasil berkuasa di kota para koboi. Pasca kota Surabaya dikuasai sekutu, banyak pemuda yang ditangkap dan dibawa oleh pihak sekutu. Tapi juga banyak di antara mereka yang lari keluar Surabaya. Surat kabar memberitakan tentang Surabaya yang dikuasai oleh sekutu. Pemuda Mojokerto dan Malang bergerak untuk berjuang di Surabaya. Pidato Bung Tomo membuat orang-orang kembali bersemangat untuk berjuang kembali di Surabaya. Untuk kesimpulannya, Idrus menggunakan beberapa gambaran yang mewakili peristiwa yang terjadi di Surabaya. Tujuannya untuk membantu para pembaca agar bisa berimajinasi bagaimana berlangsungnya peristiwa di Surabaya, namun tidak mempunyai fakta sejarah yang sebenarnya. Di dalam bukunya juga sebenarnya disebutkan bahwa Idrus itu mencoba mengajak pembaca seakan-akan menyaksikan bagaimana peristiwa heroik yang terjadi di kota Surabaya sendiri. Berikut ini sumber rujukan yang saya pakai. Mungkin sekian dari saya. Terima kasih atas perhatiannya. Pak Taufik Walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, M. Hanif G. Islami. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, dear the student, we have listened about the two student presentation. Unfortunately, another is not able to present their PPT because one is not sending the PPT, and then others maybe he has another activity. Okay, firstly, I would like to comment in general. And then I would like comment also about the PPT presentation. Okay, in general, I think it is important to note here that the student, when presenting their PPT, is still reading. So I think, what does it mean? If you are reading the PPT, only read the PPT, it means that you are not yet ready, not yet mastery about your content, about your topic. So please ensure that you explaining something so that what is called you master in your topic. Okay. Secondly, also I think it is important to note here that student maybe not understand also about the kind of literature. So please you read fully and understand fully about that literature so that you can interpret about the literature related to the historical event. I think it is very important. So I would like to comment and criticize your presentation in PPT. So it is very important to master about your literature. Okay, and then okay, and now I would like to share screen. Okay, firstly about the Sarah Staningsih. Okay, gambaran kesengsaraan rakyat akibat kekejaman Jepang dalam cerpen Jawa Baru karya Idrus. Okay, firstly I would like to comment about the fact, fiction, and interpretation, especially causality in the history. Okay, okay, it is a technical writing. So if you write about the short story cerpen, I think please ensure not italic. What is italic is the title of the book. So dari Ave Maria ke Jalan Roma should be italic. Okay. Okay, unmute please. Unmute please. Hello. Okay, so Sarah, dari Ave Maria ke Jalan ke Roma, dia the italic. Meanwhile, the Jawa Baru, because it is the one of the short story, not italic, okay? Not be italic, because it is one of the short story, not the title of the book. Okay. You also said that the price of rice in that time is 3,000 per liter. So what does it mean? What the meaning of this price currently, or in the what is current situation? Maybe if you said, okay, it is very expensive comparing today 1 liter, for example, 20,000 rupiah. So if you don't compare about the price in the time of Japanese occupation and the current situation, I think it is confused. Please ensure how much the money if 3,000 per liter in the time of Japanese occupation in the current situation. Okay, and it is also still the problem, not only for Sarah, but also for others, especially in explaining about the history and including also maybe in writing the history, you still use the historical judgment. I think please ensure that in explaining and writing about the history, you should be neutral and objectively with the logically and reasoning, not judgment is history. For example, you said that the Japanese occupation is not a good government. Okay, Sarah, please you unmute your microphone. Okay. You said that Japanese occupation is bad. Japanese occupation is not good. I think it is the historical judgment. Please ensure that the bad situation in the time of Japanese occupation, not only about the military government, but also there are many prominent of national leaders, Indonesian nation leaders, to be collaborators. So the prominent leaders such as Sukarno, Muhammad Hatta, many prominent national leaders become the collaborator. So I think many of Indonesian people also should be responsible in the time of Japanese occupation, because not only about the Romusa, about Jugan Ianpu and others, it is based on the direction of the Indonesian national leaders. Because of that, in the time of revolution, the name of Sukarno, Muhammad Hatta, and others, former collaborators with Japanese government, were not popular. Their name bad image. So I think please ensure that about the bad or not good image in the time of Japanese occupation is not only the Japanese military government, but also there's many Indonesian national leaders who collaborate with the Japan also become the bad image. Okay, and you did an analysis about the what is collaborators of the Japan. Okay, so I think in the poor people, please you analysis about not only the Japanese military government, but also many Indonesian national leaders who collaborate with Japan, because they also should be responsible about the bad situation, especially for ordinary people in the time of Japanese occupation. Okay, about the sources, I think 6 is still not enough. So at least should be 10 sources. So please also you read about the standard book related to the historical study. For example, you know, the books of Hari Jinrih Benda, Hari J. Benda. I think it is the credible books related to Japanese occupation, Bulan Sabit dan Matahari Terbit, translated into bahasa Indonesia, and also the Ben Anderson books, the Revolusi Pemuda, since 1944 to 1946. I think it is in the last time of the Japanese occupation. So you should read about this book, interesting book. And of course, about the Kahin book, Nationalism and Revolution in Indonesia. And maybe should be read about the biography of the historical actors. Maybe you can read about the Sukarno biography, what else? Others, Muhammad Hatta, Beljepi, and so on. How the difficult situation about the Indonesian prominent leaders in the time of Japanese occupation, because they as the collaborator, you know. And as you know that in the time of revolution, whoever as the collaborator in the Japanese occupation labeled as the traitor, as the quisling, as the what is criminal in the Second World War. I think it is should be understood about the difficult situation for the Indonesian nationalist leaders. Okay, please also you read many articles in the academic journal related to the time of Japanese occupation. Okay, I think it is for Sarah. Please ensure that when you mix the poor people, what I advise you should be remember, and you are as the candidate of historian. So in writing or explaining something, please objectively and neutral manner, not make the judgment in history. Okay. Okay, it is for Sarah. Arya S. Naupal, unfortunately, you didn't send the PPT to the WhatsApp group, so no comment from me. And Hairul Ardiansa, unfortunately, also he cannot present about the PPT, but I have made the comment and also what is about the criticize my my comment and my advice to Hairul Ardiansa. Unfortunately, Hairul cannot present. And the last presentation from M. Hanif J. Islami. Unfortunately, your PPT what is cannot be opened by me, so I cannot read your PPT. But however, I would like to comment about your orally presentation. Okay, M. Hanif, you said that the Idrus short story related to the Surabaya, written in 1947, right? So, and Idrus said that his short story is to understand how the Surabaya better. So I think the short story from Idrus is the real story. Because Idrus as the journalist of the Antara news agency. So as the witness in the history, Idrus reported what really happened in that time. So I think the Surabaya Better, according to Idrus, is what is really like the cowboy, and of course, what the meaning the cowboy here? So the Surabaya people, especially the young generation, only the what now called as the bonek, bondonekan, because what is their equipment? They have a traditional weapon, such as the bambu runcing, such as the kris, such as the golok, and what is small about the gun. Meanwhile, the British and the Dutch army, they have the modern weapon. So I think it is unbalanced about the battle. Because of that, according to Idrus, the Surabaya battle, I think the real winner is the light troop, the British and the Dutch troop. Because of that, we also now from the Surabaya Better, it is become the tuning point for the government policy to maintain the independent, the Indonesian independence, not by war, not by aggression, not by battle like in the Surabaya. Should be use the negotiation, should be use the diplomatic action, because if the Indonesian independence be maintained through the war on battle like in the Surabaya, I think the Indonesian people, many Indonesian people, particularly the young generation, will be died, and many of them should be killed by the light troop. Yeah. So the case of Surabaya, the Surabaya battle, I think it has become the turning point, become the reflection for the Indonesian government that negotiation, diplomacy should be take action, not by using the war or the aggression, because they ask the what is the tragic story about the Surabaya battle. So I think Idrus is the real short story related to the Surabaya. Unfortunately, also, what is M. Hanif, you not analysis about the Bung Tomo speech. As you know that Bung Tomo speech until now be interpreted as the heroic speech. But according to Idrus, in that time, it is the blunder speech. Why? Because Bung Tomo making direction about to the young Surabaya people through the radio. Because of that, the strategic position about the Surabaya young people now by allied troop, and the British army sending the artillery, sending the bomb to the position of the Surabaya people based on Bung Tomo speech. So I think according to Idrus, Bung Tomo speech is the blunder speech, because he makes the order, he makes the direction about the war through the radio, and the British and the Allied troops listening about the Bung Tomo speech, and they sending the artillery, sending the mortar, sending the another gun to the position of the young of Surabaya. So I think it is the short story of it is the real story. Yeah. So including also when Bung Tomo speech in the Tambak Beras Stadium in the Surabaya. For example, how we can decide the strategy in patching the light troop, in patching the Dutch army. There are many recommendations from the audience, and the final decision, I think it is unlogically according to Idrus. What is unlogically? Because according to Bung Tomo, let the Indonesian people who 20 million in the time of population, the Indonesian population is 70 million. Let the Indonesian people 70 million Quaker. One by one, what is should be confront to the British army, to the Dutch army, and maybe just 10 million will pass away, will be die, and the rest of population, 60 million, will the freedom, become the freedom. I think it is unlogically because Bung Tomo and his colleagues recommended about how the Surabaya people and Indonesian people should be confront, should be against the allied troop, British army and Dutch army. And if you also read about the short story of Idrus, Bung Tomo Awan Selak go to Malang, not what is after British occupied the Surabaya. Bung Tomo go to Mojokerto, go to Malang. So I think the motto of the freedom or die, I think it is only the what is heroic slogan. Yeah? In what is reality, what Idrus said, I think it is like the cowboy, only the gagah-gagahan, you know, only show oppose, but in reality, in the Surabaya battle, the real winner is the light troop or the British army. I think it is about the criticize about the short story of Idrus, and as M. Hanif J. Islami said that this short story written in 1947. Okay. Okay. Unfortunately, Hanif Islami also still reading about your presentation, so it is meaning that you also not yet mastery or understand about your topic or your title. Okay, I think there's my comment, including also my what is criticized about your presentation, and hopefully in making the poor people, please ensure what I recommend, I criticize, and I comment should be upgrade your people, because I just remember that as the candidate of historian or the candidate of history teacher, in explaining and writing something should be objectively, should be neutral, with logically and using the rational methods. So please not use the judgment in history, because we are not as the politician. We are what is not as the especially the politician, and maybe what is the judgment in history usually used by the non-academic person, especially in making the judgment about the event in history. I think that's my comment. Maybe Bu Iing, there's any comment or to student, please.
Cukup Andi enough.
Okay.
Ini lagi di jalan susah ada sama.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Iing.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Andi.
Okay, dear my student, ladies and gentlemen, I think what is our lecturing today, it is enough, and we will switch or what is move to WhatsApp group our lecturing, and please you also make the short comment related to the presentation of the student, particularly to students. So what is Sarah Stianingsih and M. Hanif J. Islami. Unfortunately, Arya Asnaufal and Harul R. Ardiansyah cannot present the PPT or the presentation. So please, the student just makes the short comment in WhatsApp group to Sarah Stianingsih and M. Hanif J. Islami. Okay, thank you very much for your attention, and let's we end our lecturing today by saying together Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah.
and we will switch to WhatsApp group. Thank you very much. We will meet again in the next week with the different title or the different topic. Please ensure that if you will present about what is PPT, the PowerPoint should be sent to the WhatsApp group one day before you will present the PowerPoint or PPT. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Bye.
wabarakatuh.
See you
Thank
in
you.
the WhatsApp
Thank you,
group.
everyone. I'm in meeting, Mr. Andi.
Okay, thank you, Bu Ing.
Yeah.
Okay, you can leave, my student.